DC Comics and Marvel Comics have been butting heads for as long as anyone can remember in the comic publishing business. They've even had crossovers where their characters have met up and fought, but what if I told you that Superman, DC's poster boy, is actually a Marvel character? Hello and welcome to the show with issues. I'm Auram, and I bet I have your attention. Superman is, and has always been, a property of DC Comics, but one of the things that you probably don't know about him is that old Clark Kent has been lurking his way through the Marvel Universe for quite some time. Interested? Good, let's get started. There exists a newspaper agency in the Marvel Universe's New York City where a man by the name of Clark works. Clark, along with his news partner Lois, has a fascination with the superheroes of New York and does great work as a journalist while trying to snag interviews with the various groups of powered individuals. Not much is known about the guy, but we can assume a lot, seeing as, well, it's pretty obvious. It's no coincidence that this Clark guy is so similar in appearance and characterization to that of DC's Superman, also known as Clark Kent, but you already knew that. At least I hope you did. That's the very obvious point I was trying to get across. Anyway, Clark started showing up in Earth 616 in an issue of X-Men from 1971. In X-Men number 98, Clark makes his debut cameo, where he runs into the famed group of mutants shortly before they're attacked by a bunch of Sentinels. Now, as far as I can tell, he wasn't named here, but as evidenced by later appearances where he is named, it's definitely our Clark. After this, Clark would go on to appear in the background of many different Marvel comics, ranging anywhere from Avengers and Captain America to Marvel Team Up and even Excalibur. He's exhibited a good relationship with fellow newspaper publisher The Daily Bugle through the friendship of one of their reporters, Joe Robertson. In fact, most of his appearances, especially when he speaks, are at The Daily Bugle, or along with Mr. Robertson somewhere. One interesting thing about 616's Clark is that his last name or any relation to Superman are never stated. This holds true for his partner Lois as well. This is probably for copyright reasons, seeing as Marvel probably doesn't want to deal with the DC snipers, because they probably have those, right? So the question now is why? Why did Marvel decide to introduce a possible Clark Kent into their main universe and not do anything with him? Chris Claremont and John Byrne, the folks behind Clark's introduction into the big MU, actually have a lot to say on the subject. In an interview with the Huffington Post, Claremont spoke about how they just wanted to have a little fun back when they were punks. They weren't allowed to do flat-out crossovers or team-ups, so they resorted to these sort of homages and cameos. He basically said that it was just one of those, hey, wouldn't this be cool types of moments. Claremont even touched on the copyright issues that could have arisen because of their fun little Easter egg. He talks about how they had to avoid putting too much focus on Clark because if they did, it would drum up a whole mess of legal issues. In fact, Claremont went on to say that in today's world, something like this wouldn't be at all possible. He talks about how the publishers back then were smaller and didn't care as much about all this legal stuff. They just wanted to do it for fun and a quick laugh. The last time we saw the Man of Not So Steel was in an issue of Fantastic Four in 2006 where he showed up to make an attempt at lifting a recently crashed Mjolnir. There's actually a pretty interesting theory that's cropped up about this topic involving the very creation of the Marvel Universe. It basically states that the Marvel Universe is the DC Universe if Superman hadn't existed. In this theory, Kal-El would have crashed on Earth and somehow lost his powers, which led him to just becoming a mild-mannered reporter working for some unknown New York-based newspaper. The absence of the shining image of Superman would lead to characters like the X-Men being hated. This, of course, has a lot of holes in it, like how the Fantastic Four are still treated as celebrities, but like most theories, it's just super fun to think about. So yeah, Clark Kent exists in the Marvel Universe, believe it or not. Surprisingly though, this isn't the only person that goes by that name in the Marvel mythos. There's, of course, the Super Soldier, a character in Earth 9602, the Amalgam universe. Super Soldier is the alias of one Clark Kent, the combined persona of Superman and Captain America. He was granted various extreme superpowers during World War II by the government after taking a Super Soldier formula and being exposed to constant solar radiation. He pretty much has the powers and abilities of Superman and Captain America put together. Quite the force to be reckoned with. Although the amalgamation does seem somewhat redundant, seeing as Superman is pretty much already the end-all be-all superhero. I guess he gets Cap's winning smile out of the deal. But that's it for this week. Stuff like this always interests me, the small cameos and nods to other publishers or mediums out there. I mean, Super Soldier was the result of a huge actual Marvel DC crossover, but our journalist friend Clark is pretty small time. Talk about your favorite crossovers and cameos in the comments. A personal favorite of mine is the appearance of a bunch of the alien from E.T. in Star Wars The Phantom Menace, but that's giving that movie too much credit. Oh, and I should probably address the fact that there's no pull list segment this week. Long story short, I finally decided to cut it. I just felt like it didn't really make much sense in the show anymore, and the retention analytics I've been seeing lately definitely prove my theory. That all being said, thank you so much for watching. Next time when I'm driving home, I roll over a nail that changes the fate of the entire universe.